Hi, Jen.
Hi, Anja. So great to see you again.
Officially. Hi. Yeah, so this is new episode of Business Heartprints, and I'm very, very excited to welcome. Um, she's not a guest. She's my co-host tonight or today because I invited her to be to be a person who will share her amazing story. We know each other what now for a year. It was last July or something, yeah?
Yeah, correct. That we did the heart math training together.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And it's nice because, because of LinkedIn and because of Facebook, we managed to keep in touch. And a year ago, we said, yeah, we're gonna, start building heart empire. And yeah, here we are. And also, I was really, really impressed, of course, by your business success and everything like that you are doing. And I also did some research about your past experiences, like past successes. I'm really curious to hear about this transformation because you can just start, you can present yourself a little bit and then maybe start, with that legal recruitment business that you brought to the stars.
Yeah, I love that you and I both come from a recruiting background. I love serendipities and synchronicities like that. As you know, I like to count my miracles every day. And one of the miracles was building and selling my last company. I don't know about any of you. I never thought, oh, I'm going to build and sell a company. It just wasn't something. I didn't even know how to build a company. In fact, I remember when I opened my first company, I was 28 years old, and my best childhood friend gave me a book called How to Build Small Businesses for Dummies. And that was the only experience I had. I had never taken a business class in my life. And so I just bootstrapped it and figured it out. And I was so thankful. When you put good heart out there, you naturally attract wonderful teams. And so a lot of people who used to work with me at my old recruiting agency came on board, and then we hired some new folks. And astoundingly, we built an incredible brand that grew and grew. And after about 7 years, somebody came along and said, we want to buy you. And that was quite an interesting experience, to go from building a legal recruiting company, building a podcast called Get Yourself the Job, that at one point I think we had 50,000 downloads a month. So it was pretty popular. And then pivoting completely 180 degrees. In 2019, I was offered the opportunity to co-moderate a panel with Deepak Chopra and Don Hoffman at my old alma mater, UC Irvine. And that same week, I was offered a TV hosting gig. And life just kind of serendipitously worked out. And that led me to create my current company, one of 2 or 3 companies that I own, called Metabizics, Metabizics. And through that company, I offer a lot of online courses. One of my business partners is Arthur Samuel Joseph, who created Vocal Awareness and has trained Tony Robbins. He's worked with Dwayne Wade, Sean Connery, Pierce Brosnan, and many thought leaders. And I'm so grateful to have him as one of my dearest friends and mentors, and now business partners for the last 3 years. I just love what I do. I get to wake up every day and contribute to others.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So about your recruitment business, can you tell me more about it? Like, it was a traditional business, or you were already involved in energy, I'd say, like, this world, like non-conventional practices and stuff like that?
Great question. When I was young, I was about 23 years old. So very early on in my recruiting company, before I opened my own company, I was introduced to a program called Landmark Worldwide, which literally changed my life. Somebody, somebody basically helped point out to me that I was a bit of a jerk. And you know how it's like, you have this blind spot. And I didn't realize I was kind of like Devil Wears Prada before Devil Wears Prada was around. And as I tell people now, I'm a recovering jerk. So people who see me now, they say, oh my gosh, you're the spiritual person who prays and meditates, 2 hours every day. And they can't fathom how I was this person who I was inconsiderate, bulimic, drinking a lot, just being very unkind to myself and others. And so Landmark was really the catalyst that set me on my spiritual journey, along with Agape. I was very, very grateful. There's a wonderful spiritual center in Los Angeles that Michael Beckwith heads called Agape. And so I would go to Agape, I would go to Landmark. And then about 10, 12 years ago, I discovered Kabbalah. And that's really been my path. It's been about 2 decades now of spiritual work. So to answer your earlier question, Anja, I began to dabble with and play with metaphysical concepts in business and understanding. Like, for example, it was never about money. There was a very, very, very brief period. You make money easily when you're doing things you love, though if you're doing it for the money, it just creates imbalance. And I'll always remember there were these people who asked me to be a business partner with them briefly before I opened my own company. And I was giving somebody a job offer, which I'm sure you've done many times. And this person was getting ready to buy a house. So it had been a good job for her 3 months ago. But by the time the client came up with the offer, then she was in escrow and it would have ruined her ability to get this new home she wanted. So of course I understood. I said, oh, don't worry about it. My business partners on the phone said, if you don't take this job, we're going to blacklist you. And I was like, no, thank you. So I say that because very early on, I realized it's great to make a lot of money. It's great to help people find their dream jobs, though you don't want to do it at the cost of your own integrity or morals. And I think just like attorneys, doctors, recruiters have a very big place in the world. And there are recruiters who have your best interests at heart and those who might be more self-focused. And I don't think anybody is inherently good or bad. I think that we just make choices that might be more selfish or less selfish.
Yeah, would you say that it's more led by mind than heart? Like when you start, leading your life based on heart values, it gets so much easier. It really gets so much easier. At first, it's a shock.
Yeah.
It's really a shock because you have to step out of this framework, that everybody is putting it around you like all your life. But yeah, what we learn in heart math as well. Yeah, it's a life changing. It's a game changer. So also in business.
Yeah, when we lead with our hearts, that's how I built the recruiting company. I would literally hire people based on heart. I would meet people. I didn't care as much about the resume. I would just energetically be able to get an assessment of somebody. Were they in alignment? Were they not? I remember one guy I hired and everybody's like, what are you doing? Who are you hiring? Who is this guy? And then I loved him. I knew from the moment that I met him that he was a soul brother and that he was going to be perfect for the team. And it was hilarious because he was not particularly into spirituality or consciousness. And he would like joke around and make fun of us, those of us who were. And by the end, he was starting to use like spiritual words. And it was just very cute.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely get you because, this is what I do. That's why we are on the same level. And I was really interested, like, how did you feel when, somebody approached to you and it's like, oh, I want to buy your company. Like, how is that? Did it come like out of the blue or, were you manifesting it? How it happened?
It was truly a miracle. So in July, I think it was late July of 2017 was the year. I had in the back of my mind, I'd started to realize I was getting burned out. Running a company where you have 60, 70 temps out, plus you have permanent employees, plus you're dealing with all of this. It takes a lot. I loved what I did, loved the clients, loved our team, but I was getting a little bit exhausted. So in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, if somebody came and offered to buy me, I wouldn't say no, but I would get curious about it. And end of July 2017, I was doing a podcast interview with my old podcast, Get Yourself the Job. And there was a guy named Gary, who was the head of Access Consciousness. And this guy, Gary, comes on and he tells me about a game called How Does Life Get Any Better Than This? How does life get any better than this? And he said, every time something a little bit good happens, you say out loud, how does life get better than this? And you keep doing that. So I learned about this game end of July, and one of my dear friends, Lydia, and I, we created memes on our phone that said, how does it get better than this? And I kept just playing this game. Every time something a little bit good happened, I would say out loud, how does life get better than this? It was 30 days, Anja, to the day. After playing this game every day, I get an email on LinkedIn out of the blue. We want to buy you. And I was like, surprised, but also not surprised because so many miracles were happening.
Good. And okay, since today's topic, we said it like building and scaling this heart purpose, like heart-centered business. Can you tell a little bit more? How did you scale? Like, how did you get customers? How did you tell them that you are recruiting based on energies? Based on your intuition. And yeah, how did you make a balance in this traditional, probably some traditional approach, and of course your personal approach?
Anja, it starts with excellent customer service. I think one of the greatest things that I learned was very early on when I was in college. Some of my very first jobs were as a waitress. And it's like, you do everything with a smile. One of my favorite games that I would often teach our staff was yes and. The answer is always yes and, not no but, yes and. And so it started off with just cultivating really meaningful relationships. That my whole life, Anja, has been built on relationships. And so rather than worrying, like instead of coming to you and saying, hey, I want to get business from you, I would just cultivate a relationship with you. And then the business side would naturally flow. And then people would call you up and say, oh, I want to work with you. And then you would deliver exceptional customer service, go above and beyond, really deliver impeccable service. And if somebody is ever unhappy, instead of ever saying no or getting defensive about it, whether it was a job seeker or whether it was a client, I would get curious. I'd say, oh my gosh, tell me about that. And I did have a 3 strikes rule. So that was very, very powerful. We had a 3 strikes and you're out. And this went for job seekers and clients. If you were ever rude, if you ever said an unkind word, if you ever did something you showed, you were harsh towards other people who you worked with, we just wouldn't tolerate it. And so I would talk to somebody about it. And there would be very rare occasions where you would get 1 strike and you're out. Like you'd really have to be a big jerk to be able to get that. It did happen a few times. And we also had some beautiful stories, like people who had addiction crises issues. For example, I will always remember this wonderful woman. I won't say her name for privacy, though it was in 2011. It was right after the greatest crash, and economically, she was in real estate. And I think she might have been litigation, but she was in this industry and there were no jobs in her industry. And so we got her out temping for one of the largest law firms in the world. And so she's temping and she's doing a great job. And when people started to hire again, I get a call one day. I was actually at another lunch and they said, we want to hire this woman. And I said, great. They said, we're going to run a background. Can you just check if there's anything in her background we need to look out for? And Anja, I will always remember this. I step out of my lunch meeting and I go and call the woman. I said, hey, great news. How's it going? Are you liking it there? Would you want to go permanent there? She's like, oh my God, it's amazing. And I said, they're going to run a background check. Anything you want to let me know in advance? And there was a pause. And she said, Jennifer, I have to let you know, I have 3, I don't remember if it was felonies or misdemeanors. It might have been misdemeanors, all within a 1 to 2 year period. She said, I was an addict. I was addicted to alcohol and drugs. She had a drunk in public. I think she had a possession of drugs and some sort of physical altercation, all within, or maybe one was a DUI, all within a very short period of time. And she said, I want you to know I've been sober for it must have been like less than 7 years because of how far back the background check goes. I've been sober for XYZ years, and you can call my sponsor, and this is my dream job, and I would give anything to have it. And I remember that was one of the most challenging business conversations I ever had when I called the HR team back and I said, listen, she loves it. She wants to be very forthcoming. She did have these 3 things that happened several years ago, and she promises and, says you can talk to her sponsor. They hired that woman. They gave her a second chance. And what blew my mind is years later, that company went through some layoffs and they still kept her on board. Like she was one of their best performers. And I think last I'd heard she was still there. So stuff like that just warms my heart.
Amazing story. Absolutely amazing. It's like really inspirational also, for people, because what I believe is that past experiences, they don't define you. What defines you is who you are now and who you believe that you can become tomorrow, like, anytime in the future. Because a lot of people, they just define themselves on their past experiences, and other people define other people, on past experiences, which is, yeah, I don't believe that. So I really resonate with everything what you say. Good. So would you like to share something about your, like, now current, wins and challenges that you are facing at the moment?
Hmm. It's interesting, wins and challenges. I think all challenges are also wins because in the end, they
True.
help us to grow into new variations of who we are. So the biggest opportunity for growth is what I like to call it that I'm having right now is that I went from building and selling a legal recruiting company to hosting TV shows with Deepak Chopra and all these wonderful people and facilitating these online classes around the world, which I've really been enjoying, to now building a software company, which is like, I never in a million years, had you told me at any point, had you even told me a year or two ago, hey, Jen, you're going to build a software company, I'd be like, you're off your rocker. And no universe and no multiverse is there a variation of me that builds a
I
software.
saw that. Amazing. Yeah.
So
So what does it do? Like, what do you do?
so what we did is we actually took intuition. So how we cultivated such success at our old company is I taught our team members how to identify what motivated people. How you give one person an offer is totally different than how you give another person an offer. So we did that for years and years, and nothing was ever systematized. It was all just something we would talk about organically. So then I left that company, and then we spent 8 months developing an algorithm, which is 20 questions that utilize the intuitive abilities that I had had to match people and analyze these motivating factors of people. So then when people answer those 20 questions, we now are offering this to organizations that provide coaches, that provide therapists to companies. We have one of the companies we're working with is out of Australia, and they provide therapists and counselors and coaches to people in underprivileged areas impacted by floods and fires. They also send coaches out to businesses. So our one line of code, which is a software element, plugs into any company's website who's working with us, and then it will automatically send that company who are the 5 best matches for this particular user. And it's been astounding. We had an 87% satisfaction rate in the last year and a month or so of beta testing. And just seeing the results that people have been getting is incredible, and we're excited now to scale. But it's a whole new world. Talk about opportunities for growth. I'm learning every day. I'm heading to Croatia next week to go give a talk and be part of an entrepreneurial thing. So I'm learning.
You're in Croatia. That's next to Slovenia.
Yeah, you should pop over. I'll be in Split in a week or so.
Oh my, great. I don't know if I will be able to, but yeah, definitely. Awesome. You'll be so close. So is it AI based, this platform, like the software?
Yeah. So it's AI. It learns as it goes. It learns how to better refine and so forth. So the long-term goal is to build this into, even once we get to millions of users and to the point where we can refine the data further. I love data. I don't know if you know this, Anja, but I was diagnosed about 5 years ago as being Aspian, having Asperger's, so high functioning on the spectrum. And it's one of the greatest gifts I have because I didn't understand people. I was constantly, when I was younger, I was saying things that inadvertently offended people or hurt people's feelings. I was getting hurt because I just didn't understand human dynamics. So what was beautiful about recruiting is it gave me almost 2 decades of studying people, studying myself, understanding what motivates people without, because when you're Aspian, you don't have the same emotional attachments that other people might. And so I was able to objectively look at data, and that's really what's made our new company so successful, is being able to objectively look at and analyze and understand data of what motivates people and how much variability is tolerable. It's been really quite the journey.
Wow, that's really interesting. Amazing. Good. So yeah, we are almost half, so it's 7:30 now. If anybody wants to start with Q&A, if anyone has a question, then they can raise their hand and turn on camera or write in the chat. Of course, it's also possible. Otherwise, we're gonna continue with our catch up, because this is also our catch up. we haven't been really in contact since last year intensive program that we've been hanging out like 6 hours per day or something like that.
Oh my gosh, yes, that was God bless Roland and Claire and Sarah and the whole team over there at Heart Math. Just heart kisses and appreciation.
Yeah, heart kisses. it's really cool, like how many incredible people, this program gathered like at one place, like global community. It was really, it was kind of profound experience also for me.
Tell me about you. What's been happening with you? How have you been applying this in your life?
Yeah, I mean, since I finished the certificate, then I really dedicated, my life, my career, to heart energy. I really, because I got a lot of experiences also, like based on my own experiences, I really got in touch with in connection with my own heart. And I saw, how we can influence on each other, based on our heart energies and our magnetic field that we are radiating, like the everything what we learn. And yeah, it's been quite a journey, really, because first, of course, you have to learn, you have to identify with it, and go through all the challenges or like opportunities to grow, and then you are ready to pass it on. And I will never forget when we had that last call, when we all finished, our certification, and I think Roland, joined our call, and we were like all crying. Because it was so powerful. It was really powerful. It's like, now you have the knowledge, go out into the world and, just share it. I was like, yes. And yeah, I'm doing that in HR. I'm focusing on mostly on HR, on founders, on startups, on teams, of course, and job seekers, career seekers. So empowering, And I think this recruitment world, I think it has great potential to make an impact. Because I think that recruitment and HR, this is like one of the most important pillars in the company, in the business world, because it's all about people. And recruitment, and connecting people, it's then the same in sales, like you said. It's all about connection. If you go on deeper level, it's going to be more long lasting. It's going to be more successful. I cannot work really on surface anymore.
Yeah, it's amazing when you drop into the heart. It's like you turn a light on. It's like you're a lighthouse and you're all of a sudden radiating this light that's saying, hey, I'm somebody who sees you. I see your heart. And I think that's one of the beautiful things that HeartMath teaches us, is that when we connect to our own hearts, it deepens our ability to connect to the hearts of others.
Yeah, exactly. It's how do you see, for example, this communication in business world? For example, now, when you are scaling your, like the latest company that you have, is it Ohm Heals?
So Ohm Heals is where ohm-heals.com is where people can go and they can use the algorithm that we use to find out if they match with one of 100 practitioners around the world. So they'll be sent their 3 best practitioners for free if they want to go and answer that. Our company that then is the business to business. So that's the business to consumer side of it. Ohm.app, om.app, is the business aspect that allows any corporation anywhere in the world to be able to plug this line of code in and be able to have access to using the same matching software that we beta tested in our own platform.
Okay, that's cool. So basically, how do you pass the message on to corporations, to to investors? What is your communication?
We're just very lucky. For me, because by human design, I'm what's called a projector. Do you know human design at all?
Yeah, of course. I'm a generator.
You're a generator. Yeah, projectors and generators, we tend to be friends. So being the design of the projector, for those of you who don't know, there is something really lovely called human design. And if you want to deep dive, I actually love gene keys too, because human design is a little bit hard to understand if you don't have a coach. Though if you use gene keys, you can get a free profile on there. It tells you your purpose, tells you what's going to help you be prosperous, tells you what's going to keep you healthy. I love it. I meet perfect strangers and do it for them, because my now co-founder, who was originally my business coach, who helped me sell the last company, he did human design for every single person who I ever hired. And when he did that, it helped me to respect that Anja might be a generator and might prefer yes or no questions. I might be a projector. This person might be a manifester. And the more you understand that, again, going back to greater connection and empathy and sympathy for how we're designed differently, that then cultivates greater connection. And so for me personally, Anja, I'm what's called a projector. And where I do best is just like you invited me. I need to sit and I wait for invitations. I literally sit and I allow invitations to come in. That's how I got invited to this thing in Croatia, and I'm constantly being invited. So that's why I often find myself on planes around the world. I was recently invited to speak with Deepak Chopra. He's going to be at the same conference I'm at with my friend Morella called Global Woman in London.
I saw that today. Yeah, in London.
Yeah, so Deepak and I will both be speaking in London on July 15th, and it's just amazing. So I find myself on planes around the world.
This is amazing. It's really, really cool. So yeah, the conversation, I mean, the communication that you have, like, are you using words like energy or heart energy, or, how, like, because some people, they're like, okay, what are you saying? And or are you already on the level that you're only attracting business investors and business partners that completely get what you're saying?
I'm so lucky. Like, for example, we just had 3 new medical advisors join our company, and they're all phenomenal human beings. Like Mardoche Cedar, who just joined us. He's a Columbia professor, Haitian guy, quadruple board certified, and he's like so brilliant, like doctor, right? Like one of the smartest doctors you can imagine. And yet he's all heart. All he cares about is heart. And then Dr. Rakesh Suri, who I met at Deepak's event last year, brilliant prior CEO of the Cleveland Clinic, prior CEO of Fountain Life. He and I have calls all the time, like about spirituality, happiness, love, joy. One of my other dear friends and mentors who saved my life when I was going through a depressive place, Dr. Mark Goulston, one of the top psychiatrists in the world, ex-hostage, FBI hostage negotiator. Everybody I'm around, Anja, is all heart. And if I may, I'll share with you one of the secrets for this. Are you ready for it?
I am.
Okay, so one of the secrets of how to draw the people who are your tribe and to release and let go of the people who are not meant to be a part of your circle is I say this prayer out loud every day. And you have to be willing to surrender. It's like it takes a lot of guts, and then you have to surrender. Dear universe, dear God, dear Gaia, whatever you want to call it, please remove anything or anyone who is not meant to be in my life, and give me the wisdom to know that it's happening for my good while drawing the right people and resources towards me. And it's like magic and miracles. This is why I'm doing a Miracle Making 101 class. If anybody's interested, next Wednesday, I have a Miracle Making 101 webinar that's totally free. It's at 8 p.m. my time, which is 9 p.m. Central European time. And
you can write a link in chat or
I'll
a
put it in the chat for anybody who's interested. It's a free webinar on miracle making. I love teaching. Oh, wow, I don't even know what that number is. Hold on. That's funny. It's the tail end of the thing. I didn't copy enough. There you go. I just put it in there. It's on Eventbrite. So yeah, I love teaching people, Anja, how to have miracles. So miracles are twofold. Number one, you have to appreciate them, appreciate the little miracles and recognize them. And number two, then you have to take action. Like I was just, as I mentioned before we came on, doing a 2-hour podcast with a brilliant thought leader friend of mine here in Lisbon. And we were talking about the masculine and the feminine, how you have action, which is more masculine. You have intention, which is more feminine. And when you multiply your action times your intention, it's with that you can create success. And so to answer your original question, that's how I've had the most synchronistic, magnificent luck, just drawing blessings, I guess I would call it, drawing the right people and resources towards me, whether it's friendships that we've cultivated here in Lisbon and around the world, advisors, collaborators. It just works easily and effortlessly.
Amazing. It's really, really inspiring. So I'm so happy for you. And I really, I mean, I'm really happy, like from my heart, and I wish you all the best. And I'm so excited to follow your path in the future. I mean, at some point, I know that we'll be collaborating, even more, because I think that, where the heart, it's leading the way, and the tribe unites sooner or later. And amazing. So all the people that are here with us today, and everybody that they will be watching this on YouTube, the recording, like we said, miracle making. So 101, yeah, it's a free webinar. When is it?
Yeah, it's going to be next Wednesday, May 31st. And if you sign up, you'll still get the recording. Even if you
Okay,
can't show
good,
up, you'll still get
good,
the
good,
recording from it. And it'll be
good.
at 8 p.m. British time, 12 p.m. Pacific time, which is 9 p.m. Central European time. So
Perfect. Okay. I'm gonna be there. If I won't have to, like go with my kids somewhere or whatever, I'm definitely gonna be there. And what is really important, that we explain that this can be integrated not only in your personal life, but in every aspect of the life. Yeah, like also business, like because people, they don't really connect sales and business and scaling and recruiting, with energies. And I see it differently. I mean, not everybody see it like that, and that's okay. That's absolutely okay. But yeah, we need to tell like out loud that it's working, it's possible, and this is one of the realities. This is one of the truths that people can use if they want, but it's available. Everything is available.
yeah, it's beautiful. It's that life. My dear friend Moshe Gersh, we just did an interview. I host a podcast called Regarding Consciousness, and the most recent interview just came out today with Moshe. And he was talking about in his TED Talk, which went viral and got like 1 million views, he's sharing about the secret to eternal happiness. And he said the secret is you either believe that the universe is for you or it's against you. And if you believe that the universe is in your favor, then you're going to have miracles. And he gave a great story. So Moshe was living in Los Angeles. His family had always lived there. And when he was 18, his family moved to Israel. So his family moved to Israel and they said, we're giving you 1 year, because he was a musician. He really wanted to make his mark in the world as a musician. They said, we're giving you 1 year to support you emotionally, financially, and then you have to come to Israel if you don't get your stuff together, right? So Moshe's there. He's like living on pennies in LA, typical musician life. And he meets a guy in an LA coffee shop who says, oh, do you want to perform at a Grammys after party? And Moshe lights up like, oh my God, yeah, I would love to perform at a Grammys after party. I'm the luckiest guy in the whole wide world, right? And so he's like, well, it's going to cost you $400, but you can come perform. And he's like, okay. So they scrape together what little funds they have and they go. And it's supposed to be a Beverly Hills after party, right? And he and his bandmates show up and they're like not even close. They're like 3 cities over from Beverly Hills, and it's just a normal house. It's not a fancy party. And they show up and there are only 3 people there, like a guy and his boxers, a guy's mom, and one other person. And they realize they've been duped. And they're like, well, what do? We've already paid the 400. But you know what? In that moment, Moshe knew that the universe had his back. He's like, I don't know how, but I'm sure this is for the good. So he said, well, you know what? This will be free band. This will be paid band practice. We paid the money. It'll be an opportunity for us to practice. So they set up all their equipment. And about an hour or so later, when the Grammys were actually over, 3 people walked in who had also been duped into coming to the party. They were all like dressed the nines and had the lacquers on them. And they were legit people who were there. And turned out one of the guys was the CEO of a record company who they gave a private concert to him and got a record deal 3 weeks later. I mean, how kismet and synchronistic is that? Definitely check out Moshe's TED Talk. You can find the interview on Regarding Consciousness, but I just love stories like that where the universe does always have our back.
Yeah, you have to, like, whenever you will share something on LinkedIn, just tag me. I really don't want to miss that kind of stories. It's amazing. Okay, any question? Anyone, or they are all hypnotized because of great content we are providing? Okay, do you have time until like 7:45?
Yeah,
Something
so
like that? Or we can...
I have about 7 more minutes. I have actually another
Okay.
that I have about 3 or 4 courses.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, we already said that. So it's no problem. So, okay, we're going to have 7 more minutes of our conversation. You see, this is pretty cool because it's actually our catch up.
Yeah. So
We were just chatting.
Tell me more about what's been happening in your life. What's the greatest miracle you've had in the last year since I saw you?
Oh, so many things happen. I think that most important thing, like I had a lot of lessons, to learn, but most important thing, it was that universe always, put me in position like, okay, Anja, now you show me how really true are you to yourself, you know? So I always chose myself. Like I always chose my soul, even though everything fell apart, everything, you know, yeah, burned and collapsed or whatever. But then, of course, like I always say, you know, if you are holding on to something, that you are really attached to something, even like it doesn't matter if it's your, you know, achievement, or if it's your project, if it's a person or whatever, you know, if you're holding on to something, then your hands are full, you know. But when you let this go, especially if you don't feel, you know, good around it, or if it doesn't fulfill you, you're just, you know, like used to it, or you are just afraid, or it gives you security or something. But when your hands are empty, new present can come, you know. And this is what I've been saying myself, like everything what I had to let go, everything, you know, what just disappeared from my life, or like I was, yeah, I'm not forced, you know, but still it's like you lose things that you don't expect, of course, and you're not prepared for it, and then it's chain reaction, and you have to, you know, you have to deal with it. But everything, you know, when I did like this, it's like, okay, universe, now my hands are empty, just bring me gifts. And yeah, gifts are coming. And also this, you know, Business Heartprints and talking to you. You know, yesterday you were like with world famous, you know, evolutionary leaders, and you are evolutionary leader, and we are now talking here on Friendly Chat, which is amazing, and I'm really grateful for it. And I know a lot of more, you know, gifts like that will happen. And yeah.
I don't know if you've ever heard this analogy, Anja. It's funny. I love to share it, of what you just said about having something in your hand. Is, I think it's raccoons, if I'm not mistaken. If a raccoon sticks its hand in a little box like this, right, and you hand it a mirror, the raccoon will hold on to that mirror until it dies. It will never drop it, because it doesn't realize all it has to do is drop the mirror to pull its hand out of the box, but it is so committed to holding on that it will hang on until it dies. And then the analogy to your point is drop the mirror, drop whatever that thing is that's holding you back, that is going to take you to your grave, and let go, and then flow.
Yeah, especially, you know, when in business, when you're dealing with business partners, or, you know, people that you have around yourself, and they are not really in your highest good, you know, like at some point they are, but you know that every day we are changing, we are evolving.
My dog just came out. He was hiding under the bed. Buddy,
Oh,
I
good, he
can't
wants to
rub your belly.
participate.
Oh my God. I wish you guys could see this right now. I don't have the camera. He is like literally, I have, Blair, come here. He's like laying on the ground with his little belly up, and he's looking so cute. Hold on, Sandy has a
Amazing.
question.
Yeah, we
So
have a question. Yeah, Sarah Garfinkel, have you heard of it?
no, I can't say. On working on the importance of feeling a heartbeat. No, I can't say that. I would love to hear it, Sandy, if you want to share something about that. Get over here.
Yeah, I saw one of her videos. She's pretty cool. I think that she's from UK, scientist, and I'm pretty sure that Sandy can share. Yeah, he will send the link. And you see, this is pretty cool. You know, we are empowering each other.
Yes, absolutely. Hold on. I gotta come. Oh my God. He just keeps showing me my belly, his belly. You guys have to see this. I have to unblur this just so you can appreciate this. Oh, up, please come here. Oh, this is my little love bug. This is my baby. So he was showing me his belly, and he just said, "Hey, I want to be a part of it." Oh, thank you. He loves to sit on my lap while I work. So
Is that Labradoodle?
he's just a straight poodle. He's a miniature poodle, but he is all heart. Talk about heart, Anja. This guy, we had a reading done for him a few years ago. He's a 10 of hearts. So I wake up to 500 kisses every morning. I'm getting 500 kisses now. He's just filled with heart.
It's actually really interesting because, you know, Sandy, he's an author of a book, because he's really, you know, he's an expert on, heart beating and heart connection, like how to feel your heart through heartbeat. And I was attending one of his workshops. It was amazing. But what I read in his book, that dogs and people are really connected because we have similar heartbeat, you know, like our rhythm is similar. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sandy, but I think I read this. And there's another a rat or a mouse that has 1,500 beats per minute, which is crazy. So these are information that, yeah, they're just coming to me and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. I have to pass it on.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you, by the way, to Sandy who recommended this. I just pulled up the Science of the Mind. So thank you for that, Sandy. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So everybody, yeah, they can all connect to you on LinkedIn. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll put a link in the chat, and I'll be posting, actually, I haven't posted the Miracle Making webinar yet today on social. It's been nonstop, but I will go ahead and post here, and then I will share the Miracle Making webinar on social media in the next hour or two.
Good.
Wonderful.
Perfect. Yeah. So you are on social media. You are on LinkedIn and you are on Facebook.
TikTok,
Where can people find you?
Yeah, so TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook. I'm at Jen Hill Speaker on Instagram, and I'll go ahead and just send me a note because I get a lot of Facebook requests. So send me a note if you want to connect. I'll just go ahead and put my Facebook in there as well. And I'm so happy you liked it, Laura. And this was beautiful. I'm so grateful we all got to be together. Thank you, Anja, for having me here today.
Yeah, of course. I'm pretty sure that, we're going to do this again sometimes when we again align our schedules. But you know what? Just keep me updated about that gig in Split. And if you're going to be around, you never know. I can send intention and miracles can happen. So
yeah, it would be amazing. Yeah, I'll be in Split, I think, June 2nd and 3rd, and then traveling around a little bit after that. So I'll be in Croatia, I think 8 or so days. So I'd love to connect if it works out.
okay, yeah, maybe, it's just
Good.
across the border. So
Holistic Health Renaissance. So that'll be happening in Vienna. So we're still formalizing the details, but I will definitely.
Awesome.
And
so when you have time, you're welcome to Slovenia. I would be really, really happy to show you around. Maybe we can organize here as well something. So that would be awesome.
Oh,
cool.
Amazing, my friend. Well, thank you to everybody. Look forward to staying in touch. Sandy, I saw the request. I'll accept it, and great to be with everyone.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Yeah, have an amazing day. Have an amazing night. It really depends in which time zone you are. But Jen, you're amazing. Keep on shining, Queen. And
you too, my friend. Big one to
see
know.
you next episode.
All right.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.